Hello. This is the 9th episode of I'm a Secret Rootree. 9 episodes was how many it took me to solve the original. And if we look at where I am in the same amount of time, actually it's been longer because my episodes have been like an hour and 15 minutes each. I'm at 50% of the 32 that I'm supposed to lock in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Uh-oh. I was under the impression that I had to get 32. I don't know why I was under the impression that I had to get 32. Maybe that was told to me at the beginning of the game? Well, whatever. So, last we left off, I had a lot of ideas because I had some time away when I made dinner and I was eating and I was just thinking about all of the evidence that I've collected so far. And I feel like I did some pretty good jobs. I did a pretty good job sussing out some stuff. But now we're back into our kind of floundering place. I was even thinking like how I felt about the rubber duck. But the problem is, I think if I rubber duck, it's going to be like, oh, you need to check out the notable events. And look here and find information that you've already figured out. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to do it quite yet. I'm just sharing a degree of vulnerability that I am experiencing right now where I have a lack of knowledge. But I think what I want to do is we're going to still focus on Guy. I want to see if maybe we can learn anything about Susan Ford. And I want to start with his wife, Patricia Jones. I think we've already searched for her and found nothing. All we have is the deaths of Guy and Patricia from the last time that we searched her name. And there was nothing else. So I don't expect to find anything necessarily. But this is where I am right now. All right. And then her old last name was Jones, right? Yes. And I think I did this too, where I did Patricia Jones, Patricia Hudson. And I didn't find anything about her. It'd be nice to know all of the previous information I had about Patricia Jones. But I think the only thing that I had is that obituary from the original game. Oh, right. Patricia is the only thing that I found. So I'm assuming... Oh, right. That was what I was looking up at before. Patricia Jones shows nothing. And then... I'm sure Patricia Hudson also does nothing. Okay, how about Bonnie Hudson, his sister? We haven't looked up anything for her. I don't even remember how we learned information about her. We may need to use her maiden name. Yeah, and there was nothing about her. So then Bonnie Kellogg, right? Yeah. So Kellogg. Bonnie Kellogg. Yeah, we didn't find anything about... I don't even remember, like, shit about how we discovered information about her, because it was through Caroline, I'm pretty sure, that we learned about Bonnie being a housewife. And it was through her kids being part of Chris Rafferty's project that we even learned who they were. So yeah, dead end for that. We could look up David Kellogg IV. I think that's how David Kellogg IV. We discovered him somehow. He was in this thing. Yeah. And that he was a swimmer for some kind of college. But I don't remember us finding any sort of periodical data on him. Yeah, no. I don't remember how we discovered shit about him. The reason why I'm doing this is because I remember there was something that we found about like Chris Kellogg's art project. Maybe that's what I need to do, is I need to search Chris Rafferty's thing. So Chris Rafferty. Fuck, what was it? Yeah. He swims for Yukon, and then if I search Yukon, I find... Yes. So that's literally all I can do, and there's nothing that's relevant to it. So I feel like that's also a dead end. Let's look up his mother, Angelica Morden. Maybe there's something about her. Well, not Morden, but Angelica Hudson. Nothing. Angelica Morden. She also was impossible to find information about. I think I even looked up Zachariah Morden and I couldn't find shit about him. This is proving less helpful than I thought it would be. I was hoping that maybe I could learn something about like his family's response to him dying and this revelation of his, you know, many extramarital affairs, but no, apparently fucking not. What do I want to do then? I guess we'll pivot to Roottree, or Miracle Roottree. Let's look up Helen Miracle, Helen Roottree. I think I already did this. Yeah, we've learned about this. We learned about Lucinda. What was that whole fucking connection? Tostarito Jacobson. This is like such a strange avenue. And I don't understand like this. I remember searching this and I was like, the fuck is this about? I didn't find anything about her? Maybe I need to just look up her name in any periodicals. Business Watch. Oops, I accidentally took a screenshot. Like, this is the only fucking thing I've been able to find on... that wasn't part of the original... Or rather wasn't part of, like, the letter that I received. Who am I supposed to discover? I feel like I'm missing just one piece of information that I'm supposed to have discovered. And I'm struggling so hard to think as to what that might be. Let's just keep focusing on this though. So Helen didn't lead us anywhere. Let's look up Catherine Wilkins again. Wasn't Wilkins mentioned at some point? What was that? There was something about Wilkins, wasn't there? It's Beth Williams. But no. There was somebody mentioned at some point in some article about Wilkins. I swear. Catherine Wilkins. Catherine Roottrees. This isn't what we want. What was the... It was like Roottrees not manufacturing. I don't remember. I'm trying to think about how in the previously on, it's alluding to the fact that like November was difficult to... Sorry, there's a loud motor outside of my condo. November was difficult to discover because it was like a little blurb on somebody's website, and then you had to deduce that it was her dance studio and that she was a dancer. So I'm trying to think about ways that like there's little blurbs, places that we can look and then deduce what it was that somebody was doing. The reason why I'm focused on this is because for whatever reason, Miracle and Miracle Jr. and Miracle the Third are not on tour anymore. And I don't know why yet. And it may be that they learned about their father's infidelity. All right, so we learned that he's a mechanic. Was it Wilkins Mechanics? I remember Tessa introducing our newest mechanic, Tessa. It's not going to produce any other results, I don't think. We've already looked Tessa Roottrees up. This is Elias M. Roottrees. We've already looked up Edith Jacobson, and it's just this previous thing that we found before, where it's an arrest record. And then we looked it up in the Butler County Times, and it's going to tell us the exact same thing that I did before. And that Lucinda Jacobson broke into the building. And Miracle's Congregation's Church does not result in us looking up tickets for this show or whatever. if we look up Miracle Roottrees Jr., he was a notable character in the last one. But see how it's going to that one? Famous. At 18, he unburdened himself from the Roottrees name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. Miracle Jr. That's right. He stopped calling himself Miracle. Miracle Jr. doesn't go by his full name. I forgot about that. We don't have anything about Clergy Watch. I did forget that he doesn't use his last name. Okay. Let's see if maybe not using his last name is what we need to do. Right. Miracle Roottrees appeared on the cover of News Time. It's not who I'm looking for. There's nothing about him. What about Clergy Watch? Oh, well, it's just a website. Edith's sister, who we've looked up. So then that leaves Miracle the Third and Nicole Smith. And if I don't find anything from this, I don't know what to do now. So Miracle the Third. This is so frustrating because I don't know. I don't remember how I even found out information about him. I feel like it was just on the flyer. Because that's the only picture that I have of him. But he was married to Nicole Smith, and there was a way that I must have discovered that. Nicole Smith is like literally the most generic name possible. That's not true, but... Nothing. Nothing. Okay. What the fuck else could I do before I resort to asking the duck? There has got to be a reason why this is still unlisted. But I don't see it, man. August 3rd, 1999. I'm just gonna start searching every 5 words. Is there any way that I can figure out what to do here? I tried every single one of these bolded paragraphs, and I did not discover anything new. As more and more of an Anonymous story came out, Hmm. Orchestrated by lawyers on both sides. Maybe Ruby is something I can do. There are scholarships named after the deceased. Where did I learn this? We have the Roottree fashion scholarship. But I don't think this is helpful. We've not found anything about this. It's this Ruby Legal Enterprises lady. We already did this. I don't think there's much that we can learn about her. She's relatively elusive. Magazine owned by a major airline. Mid-East University. This is the same university. Oh, fuck. I think I may have... Oh my god. All right. Okay. Oh, a fucking lead, man. Oh, fucking lead. Ruby Spratt graduated top of her class from the Mid-Eastern's Legal College. Her valedictorian speech was somewhat controversial at the time, as it was quite serious, with a heavy focus on wealth inequality. This didn't go over well with the predominantly middle to upper class audience in attendance. The editor of the Herald at the time said Ruby, unsatisfied by simply earning her place at Mid-Eastern with a full scholarship, went on to earn a captive audience of her peers with a perfect GPA. Felt like the ideal occasion for a celebration of an undoubtedly incredible individual. However, by the end of her speech, there were many in the audience that wished that neither of those events had transpired. It was a passionate attempt to use her soapbox to proselytize her fellow students and their parents into the religion of poverty. But unfortunately, judging by the silence, they remained unconverted. Ruby Spratt. Okay. There are a few high-profile corporate-involved cases that she was part of. Hometown of Portland. Ruby Spratt. Okay. Ruby Spratt was featured in the Portland Telegraph when she was in high school in an article called Local Teen Making Change for Foster Care System. According to the article, Ruby Spratt grew up in the foster care system, was apparently the valedictorian of her school, and was a Girl Scout who at the time of the article was earning her Gold Award. This required a project to help the community, and Ruby chose to raise money to build a fountain she called Foster Fountain. The fountain has a few small pedestals that stick up high above the water. People are expected to toss coins into the fountain for good luck. Will be encouraged to aim for the top of the pedestals. All the coins scraped from the bottom are slated to be donated to Portland's foster care system. Coalition of local businesses that sponsor the fountain have committed to matching any of the donations that successfully land on the targets. Gold Award. Foster Fountain. The Fountain of Youths, also known as the Foster Fountain, is a fountain found in a small park in Portland. All proceeds from change thrown into the fountain are donated to the foster care system. A website for Portland's Parks and Recreation mentions under a trivia section that the Fountain of Youths was originally conceived by Ruby Spratt, an alumni of the foster care system. As more businesses signed up on as sponsors, it grew in scope, even beyond Spratt's original hopes. The fountain is unique because it has special targets that visitors can aim their coins towards. If a coin lands on those targets, each of the sponsor businesses match it. This isn't a huge amount of money from each business, but more than 100 businesses have agreed to participate, so every penny becomes $1. Okay. This isn't helping. Her company services are a cross between a traditional lawyer and a PR manager. Okay. Ruby Spratt attended Mid-Eastern University. She also was in the foster care system in Portland. She was I don't know how to spell valedictorian. Valedictorian. I think that's close. Okay. She helped pioneer a fountain of youth. What was it called? The Foster Fountain. What is the gold award? Doubt we're gonna find anything about this. Let's look up the Foster Fountain in Portland Telegraph. Makes sense that it would be the same thing. Probably not going to find anything about it in any other publication. I think we've already looked this up. Seems that Ruby approached the Roottrees sometimes in late March. After the Roottree rift, but well before Roottreemania. Mm-hmm. So what can we do with this? She was in the foster care system. Is she Susan Ford's daughter? Is she instead here? It's so hard to tell. This is obviously an important lead. But the problem is I am having a difficult time identifying a timeline here. It's called the Fountain of Youth as well. Portland Parks and Recreation. Probably nothing. Alumni of the foster care system. If this is if this is supposed to mimic Felix, it would make sense. Because she also was in the foster care system. But who were her parents then, originally? Why is there so much information being dedicated to this woman, right? It's because she is of importance. What else could we do with this knowledge? I think we've hit another dead end, but there's clearly something about Ruby that we need to do. How old would she be? If she were born in the same time period as these people, because of the fact that this was the final affair, it's likely that she would be younger than 18. Because she's in college, he's 18. So both of these, if we are following this notion of age, are probably in K to 12. Is there a high school in Butler County that we know about? Because she's still based in Butler County, because she's still the president of the college, unless it shut down in 1990, which it may have. I think it just changed its name. Do they attend that school? Probably not. There's no reason why they would, unless, I mean, it's a college or a school specifically dedicated for children who are hearing impaired. So I doubt that they'd be attending that high school. But it is a fair deduction, I think, judging from ages, that these two would be in K through 12. Because they are the last born in this cycle. The problem is we don't know what they look like, and we don't know their names. This is probably not true. Being in college. Well, it could be true. I remember now why I said that, because he showed up at her high school graduation, Mark Clementine. But unless we can figure out what a fucking publication from San Diego is, I worry that we're not going to get any more information about these two. I think that's our biggest missing piece right now, is is there something from San Diego that I can use? And I just don't know it. As for Ruby, if she were in the foster care system, this would be the most likely person. But I think there's no mention of her being married. There's no mention of her having been divorced twice and having 3 children. So that does not seem likely. Which means that she's not on the board as it stands. And could very well be part of this Beatrice conspiracy that I'm helping figure out. So what did that do for us? It helped us learn a little bit more about her, but it did not help us figure out anything else that we're trying to figure out. There must be something in here that I can pull out, man. But it's just not coming together. So I think I am going to use a hint at this point, because I have no idea where to look next. Did she? She wrote an article for a magazine? Where was that established? Because she was interviewed here, but she didn't write it. I guess we have to look her up again. We've looked at this. But Cicely did not write this. As far as I know. She appeared in a magazine. But as for writing for a magazine, I don't understand how that's relevant. What else have we done with her? Ruby Spratt versus Cicely Sanchez. This is all we have. Where did we see that specific verbiage? So it's Ruby Spratt versus Cicely Sanchez. Of course not. Let me read this again. Cicely Sanchez wrote an article for a magazine about Guy Hudson. That sounds useful. Let me read this again. Already moved on. Final draft. No thanks. Dinner was good. Poor girl. Died soon after. Actually, I haven't read it. Roottrees, Brazil, but I had people on him. Despite his best efforts, I got the whole truth, including things even his family never knew. And I did. Sam mentions, on paper and in public, it was a marriage like any other. Reveals Roottrees secrets. This is the only article that she... Like... He was president, right? Do you know why he never released it himself? What can you tell us about the family? Any insight into the scandals from the recent book by Sam Madsen? So... Did they publish it? He showed you a final draft. There's nothing... Changed Man. Changed Man is the name of her book. It's just the shorthand version of it. Oops. 1978. We can confirm that. Because we've looked up this book like 4 times. Garnishing the Truth Kitchen Tales. No, it's... We've re-looked it up, so it's further up now, isn't it? Yeah, Portrait of a Changed Man was in 1979. Well, now that's interesting. I was just coming off of Changed Man. What's changed, man? Is it just... like, is it a television show? I mean, that's the same name as her book. It's just the shorthand version of that, but that book was not published until the next year. But that makes sense. That timeline does make sense. If it was published in 1979, she just finished it. That was like the last one. All right. That was the first time any recognized... There's no information in here, supposedly, that I can search, because that's not where the clue is. So... where else could I look? We're gonna... I'm sorry. Hold on. Are you telling me that I have not... What? Pikachu magazine? Okay. I think this is the first time I think that this game has actually like pissed me off. That's really fucking annoying. Yeah, my fault. Pikachu magazine is a publication that, as far as you can tell, has no consistent theme. It tends to contain tabloid-esque articles that appeal to a wider variety of audiences and appears in many grocery stores near the checkout line. Unlike traditional tabloids, it doesn't typically feature celebrities on the cover. Instead, it tends to latch onto and create sensationalist headlines about whatever subject appears to be popular at any given time. In recent years, this has included Beanie Babies, Magic Eye Images, and even Red Bull. It is often come under fire for printing fiction along with facts. Pikachu gets around this by stating in every issue that all of its articles are all the hearsay that's fine or fit to print. At one point, Pikachu ran an article about Cicely Sanchez, an author. She claims to have written an unread book about Guy Hudson. The article was not even the main focus of the issue, yet the magazine was threatened legally by the Roottrees Corporation. That particular issue, the Big Sass Seabass issue, was pulled from shelves. It's now become a collector's item, especially amongst conspiracy theorists attempting to figure out what the Roottrees company was hiding. Find a recently finished online auction that listed a copy at over $1,000, though nobody bid. This is what's asinine. I'm genuinely annoyed that the specificity of looking this up to get a periodical is just a haha hee hee. It's actually a flower. Tee hee. You didn't put magazine at the end of this. Fuck you. Whatever. Okay, cool. Well, now we've got something to work with, at least. Periodicals. Now we have this one, and we can do a lot of searching. I think what I would have preferred is, after receiving a fucking magazine as a piece of physical evidence, it may have entered this into my periodical list. And the fact that it is not called Pikachu Magazine on the cover, and it's not called Pikachu Magazine on the top of this, means that when I search it on my fucking computer, the most relevant information that I can find is that it's a category of flower. Now, there is something interesting about this. Because this is a flower with an outline around it. So that is interesting at the very least. I don't know necessarily what that means, but there is at least that. Oh my god. That just really... That really kind of... rubs me the wrong way, man. Okay, great. I think the clue was that I found the magazine, though, because it's going to be like, you need a new hint, right? Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm all right with this, because now we do at least have a brand new resource that we can utilize. I'm happy about the hint. I'm not happy about the way that the information was discovered, because it's not even Picotee magazine here, man. It's just the fucking word. All right. What do I want to start with? Maybe we start with Miracle Jr. Miracle Root Tree. Nothing. Guy Hudson. It's an issue that focused on a talking toy fish. Already saw this. What about Patricia? Patricia Jones. What about... When was it canceled? It was legally threatened. I guess it was just that was the only one that was actually removed. What about... No. Go to periodicals. Carl Roottrees. The Roottrees sisters. A week after the Roottrees sisters died in a plane crash, Picotee focused an expose on the pilot and co-pilot. It is widely seen as completely useless and an intentional mischaracterization of the two crew members. For example, they claimed that the co-pilot, who was pilot flying that day, was on pharmaceuticals, but it turned out that he had purchased a mild pain reliever in the airport gift shop the night before. They also claimed that the pilot had been let go from his previous position in a much larger airline, which was true, but only as part of a downsize, and none of it is relevant. That's okay. What about Anonymom? Pikachu is not afraid to expose details that other publications would avoid. Shortly after the announcement that Jane Doe Roottree was not a Roottree, Picotee exposed personal details about the story of Anonymom under the headline Anonymom the Anonicon. They said that Anonymom worked as a manager at a department store in North Carolina, and her daughter's name was Courtney May. They also said that the woman that vouched for her famous cover story, they didn't identify news time, perhaps to avoid being sued, is named Corianne S., and that she filed for bankruptcy. The article speculates that Anonymom and Corianne were in on it together, and even speculates that they may have been lovers. Picotee is not a credible publication. Their information wasn't particularly actionable. Very few people seemed to notice or care. Okay. So Courtney May... We have a Corianne in here. She was around this point. Schwartz. So let's put that in here. Anonymom. Anonymom may have been a manager at a department store in North Carolina, and her daughter was named Courtney May Schwartz. Her name may have been Corrine? I don't know how to... Corianne? I was saying Corianne. Oh. And her daughter's name was Courtney May. They also said the woman that vouched for her famous cover story. they say that the woman that vouched for her famous cover story is Corianne S., and then she filed for bankruptcy. Right. So Courtney May is Anonymom's daughter. But we do know that there is a woman who is Corianne Schwartz. And then I guess she was working with Anonymom. Who was she fired with? Roottrees. So this does seem to potentially tie into the Beatrice Watts connection, which isn't very helpful for what I'm trying to figure out right now. Thomas Hughes. Susan Hughes. Susan Jones. I want to do Ruby Spratt then, I guess. What else? Who's Edith again? Oh yeah, Edith Jacobson. Maybe that's relevant. What was her name? Toast Lucinda Jacobson. Nothing. 17 magazine. Felix Fellows, 5 Ps. Nothing. We're just going fucking down the goddamn list. Randorf Dove. Okay. Don't think I need any of that. Could do Lauren Roottree, I guess. What about Sam Madsen? 6 pieces. Excuse me. Why can't I delete? Okay. Billy Sims, maybe. That could be helpful. Oh, find of it. Finally. Picadilly magazine is kind of sleazy, so they're not afraid to publish a few details that more reputable news publications normally wouldn't. You look up Billy Sims' incident, and it seems they did report on it. You gain a few new bits of information, though it might not be useful. Now that's interesting. His daughter Mary was graduating that night. So, we have a name. Mary Clementine. Now, this is really interesting because this links her, Miracle Jr.'s wife's sister, to Mark. Billy Sims was once arrested for throwing a Molotov cocktail at a company that was found to be testing the products on animals. That's pretty cool. Mary Clementine. It doesn't help in the sense that I don't have a picture yet. And nothing. That's interesting that I didn't do her name, did I? If I look her up, does this same article appear? Now, isn't that fucking Wonderful. Can I look up conspiracies? No. What about brother trouble? Ron Roottrees. Robbie Roottrees. I think I did do Lauren Roottrees. Clark Rafferty LaRue. Did I spell his name right? We'll just grab it. Yep. LaRue sisters, maybe. No. Did I do Guy Hudson? Yeah, I did. I think it's 1T. No. Right. Oh, let me save this. Was it Clementine? Mary Clementine was the daughter graduating at the time that Mark showed up. Okay. What else could I look up? Chris Rafferty, Caroline Morden. We looked her up. We got all of that. But I don't know, maybe something will come up. Nope. What about Roottrees Candy Company? Nope. Obviously, this is like going to produce the results somehow. Maybe this. Key genes. No. We're looking for like information about saucy drama. What about Robin Martin? Fuck. I don't think that's going to be relevant. Claire Sims. She's not related. Butler County Times, Billy Sims. Crockwatch. I mean, maybe Crocodile Clementine will produce more results because he was interesting. Okay, nothing else about him. Is there anyone else that would be even like relatively relevant? What about Roottreemania? Fuck it. What about Roottrees Rift? No. What about I get another hint? You can piece together the name of one of Crocodile Clementine's children. I did. All right. I will put Mary as both of them. I did do that, but now I guess, oh, Mary Clementine. Mary Webb. Ugh. All right, well, very nice. Mary Webb from her website. We'll read this first. A Mary Webb in San Diego has a website called Web on the Web. Apparently, it's a personal travel diary that doubles as an advertisement for a travel agency. Excellent. There are descriptions of Mary's services, including booking flights and cruises. Almost all of them involve extremely niche audiences. It seems Mary is the #1 agent when it comes to booking spiritual vacations aboard ghost ships and in specific hotel rooms that are said to be haunted. She also has a dedicated section for more traditional modern cruises that cater to specific groups such as fans of boy bands. In the diary entries, she talks about the trips she's personally taken and uses that as an opportunity to feature descriptions of amenities and excursions that ships offer, even when you're on them to see a specific band or ghost. There's also pictures of ships, hotels, landmarks, and places she's visited, as well as a picture of Mary herself with a ship in the background. One of her diary entries actually mentions the day that the photo was taken. She was allowed onto the ship on a port day in San Diego with a professional photographer she knows. A photo of Mary has been added into your evidence. Let's look at the picture more closely. She does not have a wedding ring on, so she is likely the younger daughter. Corporate composition photography. What the fuck? Corporate composition photography is a photography studio that was listed on a few different sites for businesses in San Diego. It seems to have been possible to hire them to take professional quality photos for businesses of all sorts. As far as you can tell, it appears to no longer exist. The company is also mentioned on a photography site with some IRC chat logs. It seems that the site is the personal page of a member of an IRC photography channel. They have archives of logs they've been saving since 1993. One of them was from 1996 when Val, the former head photographer from Corporate Composition Photography, did a Q&A with their users about taking pictures for professional or promotional materials and print ads. Most of the questions and answers are pretty technical. They not only seem irrelevant, but generally go over your head. One of the questions, however, mentions that Val was on the cover of Telephoto and asks about Iraq. The question was quickly shut down by the person running the Q&A, who said Val does not wish to answer any questions from his photojournalism days, nor does he wish to talk about LBP. Please keep this subject on commercial photography. Telephoto is a photography magazine. Okay. Travel agent. I'm not gonna lock her in quite yet, but I am putting her there. I need to not be as tilted as I have been made because of the Pico T debacle. Because I could have figured this out. I could have actually looked up Mary Webb. I just was I thought, for some reason, I was under the impression that she used Clementine, but I don't know why. I think that was just a bad assumption on my part. My guess is that this is going to be... I thought she had 2 daughters. So it could be that Val, this Val or Valerie, is one of these 2. But I do think that she had 2 daughters. I'm pretty sure. But this is going to be the 4. Unless I can figure out more about these 3. And if that's the case, what I want to do is save her. And then get 2 more that are less confirmed. And we'll actually finish this part of the family tree before we even finish this part, which surprises me. This better be a fucking doozy of a 4 additional or more information. God damn it. Okay. LBP. When searching for LBP, you get a wide variety of results. LBP seems like it can stand for Lebanese pound, lower back pain, lead-based paint, low blood pressure, Louisiana-born pharmacy, and Long Beach Peninsula. Some businesses also have the acronym LBP. Your results include Lynch Building Plastics, Luxury Bridal Photography, Lexington Business Payroll, Lincoln Baby Photography, Laura's Bras and Panties, Logline Books and Publishing. Okay. So let's go back to this. We're going to open this up, still in Clementine. Val does not want to talk about LBP. The time he was on the cover of Telephoto regarding Iraq, and does not want to comment on his days in photojournalism. LBP has a bunch of options. We're literally just going to highlight all of them, and we can look them up later. The first thing that we're going to do... Also, I don't think I read this. Mary Webb from her website, Web on the Web, paranormal travel agency. She apparently found a niche booking vacations. She apparently found a niche booking vacations for lovers of the strange and unknown. This is a photograph of Mary in front of an alleged ghost ship from the 1800s. It was lost at sea and turned up without any crew several years later. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but fans love to tour it and come up with their own paranormal theories. A company called Corporate Composition Photography is listed in the top left. Let us go to our periodicals. We are going to go to Telephoto. We are going to do Val. We don't know his last name. Val Webb. Okay. Iraq. LBP. So we have a few options to search. What was it? The Lira, right? Nothing. Lower back pain, lead-based pain, low blood pressure, Louisiana Bourne of Pharmacy. Long Beach Peninsula. Let's read this again. Former head of photographer from Corporate Composition Photography is on the cover of Telephoto and asks about Iraq. He does not wish to answer any questions from his forward journalism days, nor does he wish to talk about LBP. Hopefully this isn't gonna screw me. Lynch Building Plastics. Luxury bridal photography doesn't seem likely. Let's look up the Louisiana Board of Pharmacy. Doesn't seem to be it. LBP. Any names here? Well, I mean, I could confirm her. It could be that we don't have enough to work with. I mean, we could just search for everything. Logline is a small publisher in California that does limited edition runs of movie scripts. None of their books seem related to your search. One of them is for a big screen adaptation of the puzzle game Fog. Fog is a video game where the protagonists... Is this relevant, or is this just a funny anecdote? Blah, blah, blah. This may be another game that this creator made. Okay. Does not seem important. Low Louisiana, Long Beach Peninsula. Nothing relevant. Low bread. I'm just gonna search all of it. Fuck it. Lower back pain is a pretty serious problem. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Maybe it is luxury bridal photography. Luxury bridal photography is a photography business, which is a good start. Unfortunately, it seems it's located in Ireland. Its owner's name is Nicholas. He goes by Nick's Luxury, and you doubt that's his real name, and it's not relevant. Lincoln Baby Photography. Lincoln Baby Photography seems like a solid lead, as it mentions a Val, an award-winning photographer, on the page. It is a business in Beacon, New York, and on the site, it has a picture of a baby and a camera caption with Cam Lincoln reaching for his namesake. I guess he takes after his father, Val. At the bottom of the website says copyright 1998 to 1999. Beautiful. There he is. You found this image on the Lincoln Baby Photography website. It's labeled as Cam Lincoln reaching for his namesake. I guess he takes after his father, Val. So Val Lincoln. Cam Lincoln. Baby. We're going to finish this off. I know this episode's going to also be a little longer, but I finally have some shit to do. Val Lincoln. Val Lincoln was featured in Telephoto, the cover, which featured one of his photos, as well as portions of the article have been added to your evidence. And that's his wife. Telephoto is a photography magazine. This is 1992 issue focuses on the photos of Val Lincoln, a photographer who went overseas during Desert Storm. He won the CPA Award for photojournalism, specifically for the photo on the cover. Val got his start in high school when he took a photography class because, in his own words, he couldn't decide what else to do and thought it would be the best career in the world to shoot for Playboy. But he quickly found out he had a knack for it and began to skip lunch in his free periods to spend more time in the darkroom. After graduating, he tried to pivot to landscape photography but didn't have any passion for it. Worked much better when I'm trying to tell the story of a person or an object. He got lucky when a photographer mentor of his was going overseas to cover the war, decided to take a chance on him. Most people wouldn't call it lucky to go to an active war zone for no pay, but he bought my plane tickets, all my meals, and even pulled some strings so he could rush my passport. For someone that never had a real job, or even left California, it was a hell of a break. Val was only 19 at the time and shot the photo that won him the award the third night he was there. The photo depicts Lisa Clementine, who lost an arm in Operation Desert Saber. According to the article, women were not subject to direct combat, and Lisa was in a vehicle at the time. The vehicle had to pull over suddenly when the road ahead was partially destroyed, and she and a fellow soldier were severely injured by a landmine. Val says, I ran into Lisa just after her surgery and took this picture. Until she shipped out, I kept finding excuses to go back and take more pictures of her. I guess it was fate. Because that's the photo that won me an award and got me into your magazine and also led to my engagement. Just earlier this year, she agreed to become Miss Lincoln. All right, so Lisa Webb. And I guess she's now... a housewife. Or she's still in the military, which would be pretty cool. We could do her and lock in who? So this is Lisa. She went by Clementine. So 1, 2. I think I want to lock in this whole family, right? So maybe we don't do... Well, I know. I fucking want these two. We could just leave Mary out. We'll leave her out. Holy fuck, man. Okay. Baby. This is my favorite part. Occupation baby. So she isn't in the military anymore. So maybe housewife? Then I have something else wrong. Potentially here. Oh, maybe it is web. Well, that didn't lock in, so... What do we know about... Married... Adopted the name Lucy Lang before moving to the United States. Yeah, no. Definitely her name would be that. Is she still a CEO? I think so. Let's put this back to military then. I think this is what's wrong. I fucked up somewhere here. But I do think that... I think I'm right about this. Maybe it is Clementine, though. Because that's what she's named in the article. The photo depicts Lisa Clementine. Yeah. So she did go by Clementine. Versus Mary, who may have gone by Mary Webb, because that's what we found when we looked her up. And this was copyright 1999 to, or 1998 to 1999, right? Oh. Shit, when was this then? This is what's copyrighted. No, what was then? Hold on. Lincoln baby photography. Yeah. Copyright 1998 to 1999. Yeah, so he is still a baby. So I didn't fuck up that. This is what I fucked up. Is she not a CEO then? But the president? Let's look up her again. Yeah, this one's going to go a little long because I really want to lock in these last 4 before we conclude. Or maybe I don't want to lock in these last 4. Because then I'm going to get the next big reveal. Depends on how long this takes. Business watch. But she was born. She was not. So she became involved. Died during this time. So maybe she's the 3rd president. Yeah. Stayed the president. So president 3rd. All right. Still not the answer. Hmm. She runs a business with many textile factories, some manufacturing package for American products. So she was born in 1947. Mother was already 30 when she had her, till 3 years later. This was Xinyu's sister. And clear that father was not going to have a son. Father stayed the president of Langtai for a very long time, and his daughters grew up, began training them, and one would take over. Oh, right. He was the first, his brother was second, the uncle, so this is actually, she's the fourth president. I was really hoping that would be it. Right, because when he died, passed to his younger brother. Oh, so no, it was only the third. Right. The uncle is what threw me off. I need to look up Langtai Textile Corporation. Company rudimentary leadership timeline with names that prove the company's been in the Lang for a long time. Was the CEO. The current CEO. So she is a CEO. Not a president. I knew that that was listed somewhere. So maybe the issue is Min Lang. What did we do to find her? It was the... It was one of these. I guess we can just do Lang. Business watch. No. It's not what it was. Let's look at this again. Lang Min. Wait. Also known, maybe Lucy Lang is... Perhaps not. The robot she worked on at Mid-Eastern University. Found it in the school's newspaper. What was it? It was, bang. Mid-Eastern University? Oh, no, it was the Herald. Team Talon Claw. Lucy Lang. She grew up in China as Ming Lang. And that should be the name that we give her then. But she isn't a student in college anymore, maybe? Attend university. She grew up around. She loves linguistics. As she has progressed, so she should still be in college. I mean, I don't think engineer is an option either. So I guess I have something else wrong. Maybe I do need to lock in these. I guess we will. I have this wrong. I really thought this would be it, man. But I guess this is just not... Wait, is it fucked up because... Hold on. Hold on. Do I need to just swap these? No. Certainly not, right? Yeah, no. Okay. Then what have I done wrong? I've put these two in the wrong place, I guess? But I really felt like this was it. else she could go. Certainly not her daughter. I guess I'm gonna have to lock this in. Because I can't think of anything else. I mean, maybe I need to verify the blood relation here, and that's why it's not locking in. Because I swear I can't place this anywhere else. I guess we'll find out in a second. All right. Oh. Okay, that's not what I expected. Huh? Wait, what?
Hey there, it's us. So I just have to say, the work you're doing here is fantastic.
Thank you.
So fantastic, in fact.
There goes Clark. Always the bad cop. Go ahead.
Well, our law firm, Ruby Legal Enterprises, is having trouble keeping up. They're actually begging us to stop submitting new Roottrees. They said it's getting difficult to verify your progress.
To be fair, this has taken over, like, I've done this over the course of 3 hours.
Well, consider that a good thing.
In universe.
I told Clark you'd get results.
She says that like I didn't believe her. Regardless, the bad news is it's going to take 5
that's fine.
tree editions before anyone locks in from now on. Good luck.
And keep up the good work.
Wait, we didn't get any new evidence? Wait, please. No, you said that there was gonna be testing. What have I done wrong here? I guess it could be twofold. That she's now no longer in the military, and her last name is Clementine. But it also means that I'm yet again... Oh, there's still a piece of information here? Mrs. Lincoln. Women were not subject to direct combat, and Lisa was in a vehicle at the time. Well, it's clearly about Lisa. What was the other thing that I still have something in page 2, this notable events is still something, and then we've got these two pieces of information there. Okay. Well, we've made progress, and that's more than I could hope. I had to use a hint system. The whole Mary thing I probably shouldn't have done. I was just fucking tilted as hell. Because of the way that they disseminated the Pico T periodical, which right now is the most... That's the most insulting thing that I've experienced in this game, is just this completely asinine... It's an inconsistent... inconsistent name, because it's not Pico Magazine anywhere else except for that one surge. So, whatever. I'm just salty. I'm going to try my best not to do any more hints, but damn, I need 3 more pieces of evidence, and where the fuck am I going to start? I guess I've got telephoto. I guess I've got Pico now to work with for these 2 periodicals. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to have to do my best to think about what those could be, but I need a break. Because I've recorded 5 episodes today. So that's a lot, man. My brain is so tired. what is it with the 9th episode where I get like tilted and start using hints? Whatever. I think with a good night's sleep and some reflection, maybe I can think about some stuff. I'm really curious if I'm right about this whole Beatrice Webb, Ruby, Sprat connection. I don't know if it's going to be here or if it's going to be here, because my instinct is that it's here. But Beatrice could be a derived from Bess, right? Given the naming convention that this family uses. But I don't know. They may not. Anywho, thanks so very much for watching. I hope you had fun. I had fun for the most part. So I look forward to the next episode. I'll see you then. Goodbye.